The U.S. Secretary of State says that the East Mediterranean dispute is to be resolved in a way that is diplomatic and peaceful. And under Russian mediation, India and China agreed to de-escalate tensions on their disputed Himalayan border. Those were the headlines. Now for the news in detail. United States Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said today that the ongoing maritime dispute between Greece and Turkey needed to be resolved in a diplomatic and peaceful way. Athens and Ankara have each deployed naval and air forces units to assert competing claims over energy exploration rights in the East Mediterranean. Turkish survey vessels and drill ships continue to prospect for gas in waters where Greece and Cyprus claim exclusive economic rights. Pompeo said that the U.S. hoped real conversations could take place to ease the tensions and warships needed to be withdrawn from the area for those to happen. Pompeo said his aim was to understand the risks that are associated with the people of Cyprus' perspective amid the dispute between the two NATO allies. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is warning that much anticipated negotiations between Afghanistan's warring parties are likely to be contentious, but he said today that they are the only way forward if Afghans are to find peace after decades of relentless conflict. Pompeo made his comments en route to the Middle Eastern state of Qatar, where intra-Afghan negotiations are to begin tomorrow, a day mostly reserved for ceremony, before the hard task of hammering out a roadmap for post-war Afghanistan begins. The negotiations were laid out in a peace deal Washington brokered with Taliban and signed in Doha on February 29th, aimed at ending the war and bringing U.S. troops home, ending America's longest conflict. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said today that India and China have made a useful decision on de-escalating tensions on their disputed Himalayan border. Earlier, China and India said that they had agreed to de-escalate renewed tensions and take steps to restore peace and tranquility following a high-level diplomatic meeting in Moscow. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi also today commented on the tensions on the Chinese-Indian border after meeting with his Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov. He stressed that the top priority now is not to break their promises and not to open fire. The Lebanese president said today that several tons of highly explosive material found at Beirut's port just weeks after the same chemical was blamed for causing a massive detonation there had been in storage for 15 years. The army said on September 2nd it had discovered a stockpile close to the port of 4.35 tons of ammonium nitrate, the highly explosive chemical blamed for the huge August 4th blast that killed about 190 people and ruined a swathe of Beirut. After meeting senior army officers overseeing work at the devastated port, President Michel Aoun said the army inspected 143 containers at the port that he said were found to hold other flammable material. Yesterday, warehouses at the port, some still holding stored goods despite blast damage, erupted into a huge fire. A source said that the blaze was caused by welding during repairs as stray sparks set light to the flammable contents. The novel coronavirus has killed at least 910,300 people since the outbreak emerged in China last December. At least 28.2 million cases have been registered. Out of these, at least 18.8 million are now considered recovered. The United States is the worst hit country with 191,802 deaths, from almost 6.4 million cases. After the US, the hardest hit countries are Brazil with 129,522 deaths, India with 76,271, Mexico with 69,649, and the United Kingdom with 41,608 deaths. Europe recorded 220,323 deaths, Asia 111,612, the Middle East 39,316, Africa 32,115 deaths. Britain secured its first big post-Brexit trade deal today, an agreement with Japan which is hailed as historic as it struggles to agree on trade with its closest trading partners in the European Union. Since formally leaving the EU in January, Britain has focused on negotiating new trade deals with countries around the world, although experts say that they are unlikely to replace exports lost to the EU if a deal cannot be reached with Brussels. The deal had been widely seen as one of the easiest within reach for London, based largely on the EU-Japan agreement which covers Britain until the end of December, when a Brexit transition period ends. Japan has used Britain as a pro-business gateway into the rest of EU, but some Japanese politicians have expressed concerns that a so-called no-deal Brexit might affect this. Relentless wildfires left behind a path of destruction along portions of Highway 99, also known as the Pacific Highway in the U.S. state of Oregon. The Alameda fire flattened portions, businesses, and homes in towns along the highway, including Talent, Phoenix, and parts of Medford. Oregon has borne the brunt of nearly 100 major wildfires raging across the western United States this week. Around 3,000 firefighters have been battling nearly 36 blazes in Oregon, and fire officials saying about twice as many personnel are needed to bring those configurations under control. Police have opened a criminal arson investigation into at least one Oregon blaze, the Alameda fire, which started in Ashland near the border with California and incinerated several hundred homes in adjacent communities along Bear Creek. Still to come on News Bulletin. A banana farmer in the Wilaya of Suwayq employs innovative ideas to raise production capacity and to minimize labor. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. Oman oil price November delivery decreased today by 52 cents, amounting to $39.34. The average price of Oman crude oil October delivery reached $44.32 per barrel, increasing by 2 cents compared to the price of September delivery. Oman Development Bank discussed during its sixth meeting this year new facilities to small and medium-sized enterprises to help such companies countering the impacts of COVID-19. The bank revealed that it's currently reviewing governance and performance standards to keep abreast the government directives and Oman Investment Authority vision in this regard. During the meeting, Oman Development Bank stressed on the bank's strategic goals, especially prompting partnership and extending support to SMEs by adopting the best practices in development finance and providing technical support and expertise to the bank clients. In the Wilaya of Suwaiq in North al-Batina Governorate, a local farmer, Mohammed Al-Qannoubi, turned his traditional banana farm into a model to follow, with a capacity to produce around 200 tons annually. The local farmer uses an unconventional method, banana train, to transport the banana from the trees to the packaging site to raise the efficiency and cut down the cost and the labor need. The local farmer uses a modern irrigation system and recycles tree waste as fertilizers to minimize water loss and ensure that each tree receives the necessary nutrients and minerals. Besides that, Mohammed bin Saeed Al-Qannoubi regularly monitors the conditions of the trees and consults with specialists to ensure producing healthy banana products. This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's news bulletin, here are the main points once again. The U.S. Secretary of State says that the East Mediterranean dispute is to be resolved in a way that is diplomatic and peaceful. And under Russian mediation, India and China agreed to de-escalate tensions on their disputed Himalayan border. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studios, thank you for watching and have a good night.